Yo, welcome to the podcast with your sports, news, and entertainment. This is Fire Optics. I'm your host, Ken Say. To my right over here, we got my homie, James.
What's the deal, fam?
And we got Frico Suave on the bottom.
Hola, guys. How you guys doing?
I thought you were going to say something funny about how you like to be on the bottom, but that's okay.
Oh, shots fired right off the bat.
Nah, I'm messing with you.
Let's go.
So, yo, it's been a crazy week, emotional week.
Crazy year.
Things going crazy year period. Let's start it off with, it's not necessarily the elephant in the room, but it's something that seems to be looming. Once again, the possibility of I don't want to keep saying civil war because that has such a weird connotation to it, even though it is what it is. Let's say internal conflict. The internal conflict is just rising and rising. So last week we had the gentleman Jacob Blake getting shot, attempted to be assassinated basically, which led to some riots, which led to this random white dude going out there with his mama and a illegal AR-15 firearm. He went out there, he lit two people up. He didn't light the black people up because we sensed danger. We were out. White people stop trying to be heroes all the time. So he got two of them. And now you would expect or hope that a level-headed president would step in and say something like, violence doesn't solve violence, two wrongs will make a right, any of that stuff. He liked a tweet that was praising the kid for carrying out that kind of vigilante justice. And then a day later, some random black dude goes into a Georgia Walmart, I believe, or some store and starts stabbing people. And he says, I just felt like a white man had to die today. So people, this is not what I wanted. I don't want this to happen, but I see us getting pushed this way. And I don't know what's going on, James. What's up?
Yeah, man, it's definitely alarming. It's definitely something that we don't want. I wake up every day like, man, can we get a break in 2020? But I don't think so. I got you, Frico. I know you got something to say on this. But it's definitely troubling. We talked about civil war last week, and we talked about the potential of it, and again, we try to say, yeah, that can't happen, but man, if I keep turning on the news and all I keep seeing is, it's evil winning, then we're in real trouble, and I remember watching a documentary a couple of years ago. About the civil rights movement and how all the people, the local people on there were just happy that the fact that our generation wouldn't have to go through that, And then I remember the guy interviewing them was saying, what if it doesn't get better by then? And they couldn't fathom the idea because they knew how the dangers if racism didn't end by our generation. Right. And now I can just imagine what, like my mom and, I'm talking to my wife's grandmother who's in her 80s are saying because they can't believe that we're here at this point. And we just didn't learn. We didn't learn our lesson from history and now it's repeating itself. And I don't know. I don't know if, we're militant like they were in the 60s and in the 50s. I don't know if that's what we want, but it won't be pretty. It definitely won't be something that we're going to recover from easily. So,
What do you think, Frico?
There's nothing really to add to what you're saying. I mean, these wannabe special forces citizens, maggot dudes, and what's going on with them and Antifa, it's like I said last week, it's the worst case scenario, and I'm one of those guys that didn't really think it could happen in my lifetime again, you know. Uh, but this week was a reality check, and it's scary. So, and the problem is, I mean, this stuff usually tends to escalate, and I don't know when the end is going to be.
You know, it wasn't just that kid either, man. You know, there was a clip of, you know, who they call Antifa, went to Wisconsin, you know, and demanded the Jews to get out of their house, you know, in Kenosha, a rich upscale neighborhood, and face them on the streets, you know. And
Yeah.
those residents were like, man, it felt like, you know, looking at a video of the 1930 some Nazi Germany. You know what I'm saying? People demanding them come out. So it's just a weird time. Go ahead, man.
And I forgot. Now there are reports that Jay Bishop, who is allegedly one of a big time white supremacist, a big time leader of a suspected white supremacist group, was shot dead last night. It's on video. If you find it, you don't see the actual shots, but you see him lying down. And so here's my thing: the fact that it's happening, I'm not surprised because I'm looking at it, and from the outside looking in, you can just like, it's like a chessboard, and you can see how these pieces are getting set up to move. But at the same time, here's my next follow-up question: do you think it is unintentional that this is happening, or do you think there's some invisible hand behind this whole scenario pushing it this way? Because I'm of the inkling that there's an invisible hand behind this. Excuse, excuse me, pushing this way, and I say that because a lot of these um, killings that are being shown, and it's just the way they're being shown and how the frequency to build up emotion one way or the other. So imagine you're James and I, like normally I only look at these kind of videos one time and I'll leave it alone because I don't want to, you know, have that on my psyche too hard. I just want to see what happened and then I'll let it go. But then you got some people like us, some black folk, who take it in over and over and over and over again. And that does something to your psyche, whether you want to believe it or not. But then on the other side of the coin, excuse me, you have these white supremacists. And when they see this happening over and over and over again, they probably get a little hype, like, yeah, we can get away with this stuff. And what I'm saying is I have a vibe that yes, this is going to happen, but I also have a vibe that there's something pushing this agenda along. Am I wrong? Is that too conspiracy wise, or what do you guys think of that?
Uh, I not only do I think you're right, I think that it's explicitly being pushed by the president.
Hmm.
Whenever he retweets some maniac or says good job or there are good people on both sides, et cetera, that's a massive catalyst when the president's saying good job, guys, to these idiots. And you got the people like for the other day in Portland, you had these mega dudes in trucks just like going through the protesters and just macing everyone. And it's, to your point, that kind of escalation, it's hard to stop.
Yep. Okay. So you got protesters throwing stuff at whoever. And then you got, okay, the Trump people come out here. All right, now we're going to throw pepper spray and shoot y'all with paint guns. And then what's going to happen? Well, how are the protesters going to top that? Or how is Antifa going to top that? And that's how I see this thing going, just stacking.
That's scary. That stack is scary.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you add in the fact that they want to defund the police force, so then there's definitely going to be nobody to attempt to control the streets, and once that happens, then it just becomes a free fall, right? And so You know, and not even this, you know, Trump, you know, you listen to the, you know, police chief from Kenosha, you know what I'm saying? You know, hey, you wouldn't have got shot if you went out there past curfew.
Oh yeah, he was a complete dick.
You know, so it's just that mentality where, you know, if that was a black guy shooting somebody, it would have been a different story. It wouldn't have been, oh, you out there past curfew. It'd have been, oh, look at this animal. He went crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's a perfect storm right now. You know, it's just a perfect storm. And all it's going to take is, you know, we said it last week, it's just going to take the pressure bust pipes, and it's going to take that one thing that just puts enough pressure on the pipes to where they burst. And, you know,
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of pressure bursts and pipes, go ahead, Frico.
No, I was just gonna say that, you know, the way that this is playing out, to your point, Ken. So you were asking, you know, do you think there's some kind of underlying invisible hand? And I think it's more explicit, but he's not stopping. Like he keeps doing it. So he's, I mean, I don't think this would have happened under a different president because people underestimate the power of the rhetoric that comes out of his mouth because it's powerful for some people and it brings out the worst in that.
he's on his
But
way down there tonight. So we'll see.
yeah,
I mean, he basically just puts a battery in a bunch of cowards' backs.
yeah,
That's what
that's
he does.
perfect. Not yet.
But I say it once again, but I'm going to say it one more time. White supremacists, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Just straight up like that. That's not a threat. That's just, I got the same feeling I got about a civil war coming or, you know, insider, whatever. I also got a feeling these people who are pushing it out there and being the antagonists and the ones who rile up or punks jump up to get beat down. And a lot of them, when it comes to these natural instincts, when natural instincts kick in, that's where natural abilities kick in. And anyway, let's leave that alone. Let's not up and down week for Black people specifically. It was a roller coaster week, man. We had our brother Chadwick Boseman passed away at the end of the week, but let's take it. I want to take it linear. I want to go in order as it went. So first we had the NBA boycott. Now we're going to talk about sports later, but we're just laying this out. So we had the NBA boycott, and initially when it happened, I was like, okay, cool. Y'all got to stay out though. And when they came back, at first I was a little ticked, but now that I think about it, I don't feel bad about it because a lot of brothers in the league are still living check to check. And I heard that was articulated to the higher up players in the league, like, yo, we ain't got it like that.
Yeah.
So we need to keep playing. And if that was the case, then I understand that. So I'm more along the lines of, you know what, I'm still glad they did it. I don't think it was a mistake to do it because sometimes you got to show that you'll actually do it. And then it actually showed that baseball will follow you. And hockey followed them, WNBA, of course. And then you had like Russell Wilson saying, you know, if the football season was going on, we were going to sit out too, straight up and down. So sometimes you got to put that threat out there just to set the wheels in motion. So I don't feel so bad about it now. Now, before I get to what happened after that, how do you guys feel about the boycott situation, the way it played out?
No, you know, I'm all for boycotting. You know, I was, sitting down with my wife, and I was like, you know, I was in agreement with you, like, you know, they need to just dead the season, right? Um, and I was in that. I know that keeps coming up. You know, they live paycheck to paycheck. You know, and for once, I wanted to see, you know, the collaboration. Like, yo, we got you. We got you. We're gonna cover your expenses, but we got to make this point. And that collaboration, you know, because I'm pretty sure there's enough money to go around that they all got. the whole. I understand what you're about to say. I understand what you're about to say, but
What am I about to say? What am I about to say?
but
What
because
am I about to say?
everybody's got different expenses and everybody is doing different things, right?
Okay, no. It's not that. It's not just that. Before, my bad to cut you off. It's also the niggas around you in terms of us. So it's not like I'm just loaning money to you. You need that money because you're taking care of 4 cousins, 3 aunts, 2 uncles. Mama got to get taken care of. So
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's not necessary, that's what I want to get at.
and yeah, it's just that and it goes to show that we have to be educating our younger, youth about wealth, right? Because
If you
they
don't
should,
have a base, you can't take risk like that.
right? You know what I'm saying? And you should have been had, as much money as you're making, what is living below your means? You know what I'm saying? And how do you have that 1 or 2? Because you can easily have 1, 2, 3 years of expenses saved up, earning money for situations like this. But that's a whole other topic. That
Oh, by the way, we all went to the same high school. Did they teach us that in high school?
Dude, that's what they need money management classes
no,
for kids. They didn't have that.
and I took economics.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember that in high school.
They don't
Okay,
teach money
my
management.
bad.
They definitely they need to be teaching it, and they especially for. I'm pretty sure they have classes and stuff in the NBA that address that, but I think it should start off when you're young.
But Frico, here's one thing: you cannot overestimate the power of niggas, not black people. In words, I say that to say this: I remember not in basketball. Sorry, my bad, James, but in football, the year that Carolina Panthers drafted Kelvin Benjamin. All right, I called up our mutual friend Micah because I saw the draft happen. I saw him in the room, and I was like, "Dang, I like the way he looks on the field." But when he was in that room, it was him and 20 N words, and they were just looking. All of them were looking like. Remember the Boondocks when they had the chicken episode where everybody, or the R. Kelly episode? Boondocks did a good job in encapsulating niggas. When everybody's looking like they want a handout and all, it looked just like that. It looked like a Boondocks episode. And I talked to my boy Mike, and I was like, "Yo, he ain't gonna make it, man. Cause it's not because of him, it's because of them. Like he didn't have the right whatever around him." And that's where I feel like it is for a lot of these NBA players. They don't have the foundation and the right money management support, all that stuff around you, like a Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I'm about to say, people talk bad about Kawhi, how he was driving. I even seen him in person. Driving an old Suburban. You know what I'm saying? But
That's why I love that dude, man.
That's respect. That's
Exactly. Because real brothers know
yeah,
that's what you're supposed to do.
you know what I'm saying. And when you're young, you need that support, but it also comes from your upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom, she was a penny pinching, you know, person. You know what I'm saying? And so I just developed that habit because I saw it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, when you're young, you're gonna do some dumb things with your money because it's emotional. But at least when you grow up and you have that type of environment, you're like, okay, I need to slow down. So many people never had it and never was taught it and never saw it, and so they just go balls to the wall, and now they live in paycheck to paycheck. And I was like, I said you can't live paycheck to paycheck making that much money. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not learning how to invest the money, you're not learning how to make it grow. Even look at Shaq. You know what I'm saying? The dude makes more money off of his franchises and his other endorsements than he ever did in the NBA.
Shakaroni pizza, baby.
Yep.
You know, and so it's just sad. But I was hoping that they would stay out for the rest of the season. I was hoping that the message would get pushed. But this is what it's about. Even looking at the Jackie Robinson movie, I watched that last night because of Chadwick. That's a great movie. He did a great job in it. You know what I'm saying? But man, it's just like, look at where we had to come from and look at where we are now. The only thing that works is when you say, okay, have your sports. You know what I'm saying? We ain't messing with you. That's the only thing that gets their attention because they know that we're a money crop.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What do you think, Frico?
No, I agree with James. I think that, people need to be educated, like I said earlier, with classes, and also what Ken said, maybe there should be a class on how to deal with entourages, uh,
There
but
is. It's called. Okay, my bad to cut you off. There is. It's called game from the older cats. So if you look at a lot of podcasts and interviews from basketball players, the ones who are making it now, without exception, will always mention such and such gave me game. Like Vince Carter talks about Charles Oakley,
right.
and Curry will talk about whoever was a veteran on their team. Whoever soaked up the game makes it, and if you don't, Steve Francis, you out the league.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good mentors out there, but just probably not enough.
But you said it right, Frico. That was the first thing when I asked. I said, "Yo, how do I get wealthy? I don't want to be. I just want to be wealthy. I want to be well off." And the first thing one of my mentors told me was, he said, "Go find a mentor who built wealth and listen to him. And whatever he tell you to do, you do it, no matter how hard it is and how whatever it is." And that's what I did. And that it was hard. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. What wasn't hard? It was just uncomfortable sometimes. You know what I mean? Because you don't get everything you want right away. But I'm in a better boat now, listening from all them years ago. You know, and it's not hard. I mean, it is game, but it's just, this dude is eating every day. You know what I mean? He may not be driving a Bugatti, but damn, I'm driving a Bugatti and these noodles suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the trade off? So, yeah, I mean, mentorship is key, but they gotta want to listen. They gotta be able to identify that, hey, I'm one knee injury away. I'm one, bad season, shooting season away. I'm one away from being on the streets.
And just from an educator perspective, just a not necessarily advice, but just a strategy I've noticed that works with younger people. When I kick game to them, and even dudes who aren't necessarily in school, but like dudes who are teachers, who are like in their early 20s that I'm just cool with. I never point the finger at them when I'm giving advice, like, yo, you can't do such and such this way and blah blah blah. I'm not, I don't preach at them. I tell them, yo, I see what's happening with you over here. Let me tell you what I did that was very similar at your age and how it turned out.
Yep.
And that has to do with like school, that has to do with women, that has to do with finances, that has to do with everything. Because I've made enough mistakes in my life that I can tell you straight up, yo, this is what's going to happen. You can, whether you believe, and then you always give people the option of choice. Because if you tell them, yo, you got to do this, blah blah blah, man, you need to do this. You need to the inner. If you're younger, you're like, man, this dude trying to tell me what to do, man, and then start saying f him, f you, man, like in your mind, because you just want to be rebellious.
Yeah, young people just think they know everything.
I mean, because that's how they're supposed to be. That's how we were,
Yeah,
straight.
we were all like that.
But there were dudes who were older than us that we would listen to, and I guarantee you is because they weren't preaching at us. They just be kicking it, and we like their vibe, and you get a little trust in somebody, and then you listen. So just some advice, man. Don't preach to these young dudes. Like, give them a good story. That's actually how I do it a lot of times. I'm gonna give you a story where I effed up, but I'm gonna make you laugh. It's gonna be entertaining. You're gonna remember that joint. So anyway,
I had a on that. I remember I had when I was going through my little psyche vibe, right? When I was getting my clearance in the military. And there was asking us a bunch of dumb questions. It was a long, long week, right? And I remember at the end of the week, this guy was like, not everybody's gonna make it, so forth and so on. He says, "Let me tell you the truth, though." He says, "The guy that's talking the craziest that holds all the truth." So when that guy tells you, "Hey, cut your cable off for 2 years," and you like, "What? This sounds crazy as hell." He said, "There's truth behind that." When that dude's telling you put 10% away, you like, "Man, come on, man. That's damn. That's only leaving me with this." Well, yeah, that's all you got then, right?
Yeah, I wish I would have listened to some of my elders.
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
But those are the crazy things that you hear at that age. And when that dude told me that, I was like, man, we always say that, man, that dude crazy, man. That dude crazy. And that was like we always said that when we was younger. But when crazy people, when crazy old people who's telling you to do all that stuff, they hold a lot of truth into what they're telling you to do.
Yeah, it's experience, man. And okay, and then after the boycott, so the boycott had just truth be told, as a collective, I think most Black people were feeling a little disappointed at that particular time. When the boycott turned out to not to be a boycott, you get this collective letdown of, I thought we were at a certain point. Like it was a collective, it just was. Even if, like I feel today differently than I felt Friday, but then last night happens, and we hear out of the blue that Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther from Get On Up from 42, has passed away. Now, I'm going to be straight up. It hit me hard, not just because he's Black Panther, but because I'm an educator and I've seen Black, Latino, white kids, Jewish kids, all kinds of kids emulate this dude, play Black. I saw white kids when this movie came out play Black Panther during recess. Like I knew the effect that he had on my specific environment and community, and I just thought it was a beautiful thing. And it felt like that spirit and the aura was just taken from us. And I broke down, man. Like at first, I went in the bathroom. I thought I put my wife and kids. They were brushing their teeth. I went in the bathroom. I'm like, okay, I got a little thug tear. I'm like, okay, I got a little thug tear. That's all right. It's all good. Man died. I got a thug tear. Ain't nothing wrong with a thug tear, James. Son, ain't nothing wrong with a thug tear, son. Yo, I put those kids to bed, and I sat down on the bed. My wife was putting my son to bed. I was in the bedroom by myself, and I just sat there, and I just bawled, man. It was too much. I was like, dang, man. Like after all this emotion of Jacob Blake, then the fake boycott, and then to have him it was like, of all people, that's not who Black people needed to die right then and there. And so it's been an emotional time. Now, before I let you brothers speak on it, I have to say, after a real man, no, I'm not gonna say a real man, but sometimes, yo, in real life, let your emotions out, man. I didn't do it. I didn't throw a hissy fit in front of a whole bunch of people. I went behind closed doors. I let it out. Nobody saw me. Let them tears go, came out. I was straight. Sometimes you gotta do that, people. Just straight up and down if you feel that way. Anyway, but I'm to the point now where I feel a little bit better about it, because I think if we take this the right way, we can push his legacy even harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you owe this to this dude to be a Black Panther in real life. We owe it to him. This dude was going through cancer while he was doing that movie and a few other movies, and losing all this weight and looking sickly, and people cracking jokes on him. And so anyway, my bad for rambling once again, but I had to let that all out. What's your Freako? What you think about our brother Chadwick Boseman going away?
Man, it was tough. So I developed this theory about Chadwick Boseman. It's not even really a theory, but so he was a great actor. And what I'm trying to say is, I think that, so he played Thurgood Marshall, he played Jackie Robinson,
James Brown,
King T'Challa, Wakanda. Like, I think the reason he was able to play these characters so well, and not just because he's a good actor, it was because he embodies a lot of the noble traits that these people that he's playing had. And you can kind of see that based on his actions during his life. Like, I mean, the guy, it was all on the down low. He's been going to hospitals like once a week, during all this. Not for himself, but for himself too, but also for little kids that had cancer.
Yeah, and Freako, let's put a pin in that for 1 second. if you are making a movie, for those of y'all that don't know out here who are younger, maybe you don't know what it takes to make a movie. You're gone for like 8-9 months. You're working like 18 hours a day.
Yeah, it's not
And
easy.
so to do that, and then to know, okay, when he's not on his movie set, what's he probably doing, Frico, if he's not on the movie set? What's happening?
Well, we found out now that he's just helping the world. So
On
once,
top of one other thing, which is getting treatment for your cancer.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean that, and that's I've never had. I mean, I still have been lucky enough not to have an immediate family member get cancer, but I've had some friends get cancer, and it's the fact that he was able to maintain and do all those projects is crazy. So God bless him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen,
much respect to the dude's career, man. Just one of my favorite actors. I was looking forward to seeing more and more often. So condolences to his family. I read that his family died by his bedside. I was like, man, what a harsh thing, but a beautiful thing to have your family beside you at your last moments. Um, and when I think about him, man, he was one of you know, um, my heroes, man, right? Because of his work ethic, right?
mhm.
HBCU grad, right?
That's right.
From the black community,
Carolina fan, UNC fan.
you know,
Didn't
and
know that.
when I listened
Yes.
to him speak, I shared the thing with the group, man, how Denzel Washington paid his tuition, right?
And funny, we were just speaking of mentorship.
Mentorship, right? But that's where I'm about to go. And I said, you see how beautiful it works out in our communities, right? When this happens, and I think it was Felicia Rashad who went to Denzel and said, "Hey, there's this great actor down here in Howard," and he didn't even know him at the time, but he trusted Felicia Rashad, right? And it just shows you the network, how the power of networking, right? And the more I read about him, I said, man, this guy worked his butt off in college, man. Like, what I'm saying? No, he didn't take no time off. He was hustling at his craft, and he failed a lot of times, right? But kept getting up, and that's what drew the attention of Felicia Rashad. And
Mm.
Denzel pays for this dude's tuition, man. And so he calls Denzel, and he's telling Denzel, "Hey, I heard you pay for my tuition. I want to thank you." He said, "Don't thank me. You owe me money, right?" And Denzel was kind of laughing about it, like, you still owe me my money.
Oh,
But
by the way, Frico, this was his tuition to Oxford.
yeah,
Oh damn, he got a Rhodes Scholar.
I guess so. I don't know. No. Denzel played his way to Oxford.
yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so it is just an important factor that you know you reach out to somebody, you help the people that's beneath you. But this guy had class, and he had the dignity, and he had the hard work to make sure that didn't go in vain, right? And so you look at it at both ends. You got to reach down and help the people with you, especially in your own career field. But you also got to take a note from him and how hard he worked to make sure he didn't throw that in vain to Denzel Washington.
Right.
And look at what happened. We have one of the most iconic black actors ever, and we lost him. And I just have to echo what LeBron said, man. To lose Kobe and this guy in one year, it's a shitty year, man. It's a shitty year.
I mean, you know what? America's been sick for a long time, right?
Yeah,
All right. So what happens when you get sick? At first, you feel a little, you feel a little different, and you can feel it coming. And that's what's been going on for all this time. You feel it. You're like, dang, why's my throat itchy? Dang it, damn it. No, I don't. I'm about to go on vacation this week. I can't afford this. Blah blah blah. And then you start getting the sniffles. And right now, we're past the sniffles. We're at the point where we're not in bed sneezing and coughing because that's when all this is going on. But we're at the point where we realize how ironic is this? We're at the point where we know we got to call in for work and stay home.
Right.
What's going on right now? That's where we're at the point of. So anyway,
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I do want to mention one. Go ahead, James.
no, I mean, you make a good point, man. Last thing I wanted to say was, how short life is, and to really, value, the people around you, your families. You got this time home, enjoy it with your families. Because if you look at the world right now, man, you know,
Yep.
What's it called? The Nile River just flooded today. This over flooded. Everybody had to evacuate. It's out of nowhere, dude.
That's called global warming.
Yeah. I mean, you can look it up.
That's science.
And across the ocean, man. They're getting it really hard right now.
Well, wait, because you about to go on to an. Hold on, brother.
So I'm just saying, enjoy your family. We're in a peculiar time, and just
Well, before we move on from the Black Panther completely, I do want to say this. Initially, of course, the grief of just him dying just out of nowhere, and we didn't really see it coming. Then after the fact, you're like, dang, that dude was looking sick this whole time. We should have known something. At first, I was like, no more Black Panther. No, there can't be another Black Panther, blah, blah, blah. No, that's it. The movie's done. Can't do it. You can't do it. You got to pay respect to this man and his legacy. But I saw a tweet from Jamel Hill that made me change my mind. So here's her tweet. And I want to know if you guys agree with this. Should we end Black Panther, or should we continue on, have Black Panther 2 and all these other Black Panthers because of what this tweet says? Black Panther was too necessary to the culture. We knew it was important, which is why we celebrated it the way we did. That celebration should not stop. I think that's the most important part. That celebration shouldn't stop. And I don't think Chadwick would want it to. The best way to honor his legacy is for it to continue. Now, on top of what she tweeted, let's be real. If you know anything about the Black Panther comic books, it's not one character who's the Black Panther, one person, and he's Black Panther forever and lives forever and all that kind of crap. Literally, in the Black Panther comics, it goes generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you gentlemen think? Should we end, or do you agree with me? And this tweet kind of makes me say, you know what? You damn right. We gotta come up with the Black Panther 2 even sooner now. What y'all think? You want to think about that before? I got you.
No,
you want to think about it like that before?
I agree. It needs to continue. I just don't think it needs to continue with the Marvel Studios.
Why?
This is my take on it. Right.
Wait. What about the director?
No.
What's the matter with the director, James?
No, this is my take on it. Right. It is done so much for the Black community, except put money in Black community's pockets.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And I know a lot of white people who didn't go see that movie just because it was uplifting Black people, right? A lot of military people, man. Jeez, they go see every Marvel movie, but that one.
That was one of the best ones.
So, and here's the thing, I think I had this argument when it first came out, and everybody said, "Oh, it did so much," and I said, "Yeah, it did everything but feed us," And we have to stop being so emotional about it. You can get Spike Lee to do it for all I care, but there's plenty of new Black directors that need a shot.
Wait. Why can't Ryan Coogler do it with Black money? Why does the director? Because I think he did a phenomenal job.
I think he did a phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. The movie was excellent, but where does he work? Who's he work for?
I don't know this for a fact. Frico, do you know this, whether directors are kind of like contracted movie per movie, or do they sign with certain studios? Like, I don't know how it works.
I'm not sure. I think it's a mix. They go wherever they want. I mean, they're freelancers.
That's what I thought. So, Marvel, and let's be real. Marvel is not letting go of the Black Panther franchise. So that can't happen. Like, they own Stan Lee signed to them. So you can't circumvent the creators of Black Panther.
I'm not talking about it from this that point. I'm just saying we're not going to benefit from it. You know what I mean?
I don't agree with that at all.
Emotionally, mentally, we may, but look. This is what I tell people all the time. This is what I said when it first came out, right? And it's a simple fact of, hey, can your screen froze? Can you hear me?
Maximize and minimize your screen real quick. That normally works for me. Go ahead, Frico. While
Okay, all
James.
right.
Is fully owned by Disney.
All right, you
Okay.
back. Sorry about that.
It can, no, but that means, but that kind of strengthens your point because Disney is pretty much, they own ESPN, but they're like the big, the man, quote unquote. So to Ken's point, I will say this: I do believe that Chadwick Boseman would want it to continue. And how it continues, that could be up for discussion, but I don't think he would have wanted it to end.
I think James is saying he wants it to continue. He just wants it owned by Black people, and so it can benefit us economically. But the way I'm looking at it is the message that gets put in the movie, if they're allowed to have the same positive vibe and the same mantra as the original, if they go out there, it's almost like this, James. Remember when Chappelle signed that $50 million deal?
Yeah,
Okay, do you remember why he didn't go through with it?
because it took too much creative process away from him.
And he felt like there was one particular time where he was on stage and they were in the midst of a scene, and he looked down and he felt like the white people in the audience were laughing at him
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
not with him. So at that moment he felt like he was kind of cooning, and that's when he dipped. So that's my thing. Ryan Coogler, I'm gonna put it all in your hands, brother, as the director. If ever a moment Marvel or Disney steps in and they're trying to coon it up or lighten it up or not have this message sent or that message sent, you got to break ranks. Because if he breaks ranks, then a lot of us ain't going to be about this movie. We're going to understand that. If he comes out and says, yo, I tried to make this epitomize Black people and do right by Black people in this movie, and they were trying to do some BS, so I'm out. I think Black people will look at that and be like, yo, we're not going to support this movie because of what he said. But I want him to have the opportunity, even though the money is generated through Disney. I understand that. But if he can put out the right image, that is very powerful for us right now. Because let's put it like this, James. If we were in a stable place emotionally and mentally, then I wouldn't care as much. But you know as well as I do, as a collective, we're not. So I feel like it's very important for us to get these moments of, yo, I'm an educator, dude. I could say it to class, to this little kid who's bugging, little brother who's smart and intelligent, but acting a fool and getting in trouble. Yo, man, because I know he's a Black Panther fan. Yo, you acting like Black Panther right now, huh? And they'll know. They'll be like, oh, all right, I gotta shape up. Like for real.
Right.
No, I mean,
Kids are impressionable.
I understand where you're coming from, man. But for me personally, I agree his legacy needs to go on. I think that they should do like they did in Fast and Furious and find a way to honor him in the movie somehow. You know what I'm saying? I think that's needed. To send him a farewell off, maybe a big fight scene where he what you call it, loses it for Wakanda and everybody's happy. I don't know, but I can't do any more symbolic victories. This is just me personally. I understand where you're coming from. I just can't, because what happens is we get so excited and we get this movie, but we get nothing tangible from it. We just get the emotional, uplift from it, right? And yet our HBCUs are still hurting. Our communities are still financially broken. We still don't have, you know, money to send our kids to school. You know what I'm saying? We still don't got businesses. We don't own the deeds to anything. It's like eventually, if and you have to think about this. I think Black Panther made 1.4 billion or something like that. Really record setting, right? how much that money went into the black community? How much that money went into changing what our schools look like? You know what I'm saying? Now flip that and say how much that money went into the Jewish community, the white community, or these interests for Disney, right? So to me, I'm looking at Disney. Disney like, I don't care how y'all feel about Black Panther. Yeah, who. Thank you, because most of that money that was generated came from us.
All money is not the only valuable item in this world.
Can I,
That's
I'm
what I
not.
would
I'm
get to
not.
that.
can I,
I'm
t-
not
can
saying this.
I
Yeah,
interrupt?
go ahead, Richard. You devil's advocate. Go ahead.
No, but you were saying what I was about to say, so I had to interrupt. So James, what Ken is saying is he's seeing this happen in real life. He's seeing kids affected by Black Panther. That's a real thing. And also, the way that you have to look at this, I think, is that it's like what Ken was just about to say, I think, was that the message is a more valuable currency than the money at some point.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right
The
now.
money will come after the messages.
I disagree.
Wait, 1 second. Let him finish. And then I got a rebuttal for you, and we're going to come back to you, James.
No, I'm just saying you can't underestimate the value of the message versus currency.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say to James.
Long-term stuff.
I feel like you're skipping steps. And here's why I would say that. You know as well as I do, if someone's not mentally prepared for something, no matter what the opportunity is, if they're not mentally prepared to take that step, they're going to fuck it up. And here's what I'm saying. As a collective, Black people as a whole, there's way too many of us who are not prepared to take the steps you're talking about. But if you plant these seeds, which, where the money is going to them, you are correct. And that sucks. And I don't like that. But the opportunity to plant those seeds in their mind, because that's what that Wakanda thing, that plants a direct seed in a Black child's head that we can have our own something like that one day. And that's the seed a brother like you needs for those kids to have, so that when we're older, they're going to be on a whole different playing field than we were. You know what I'm saying? Because you have this mentality, and there was no movies like this out when we came up. Even though we had good parents and good leadership and good guidance, I mean, and we wanted movies like this. We just didn't have them. So I feel like right now, what you're asking of some Black people can handle what you're asking, but a lot of Black people, what you're asking, if we're climbing up a ladder, you're like removing one of the pegs from the ladder, and they can't make it to that next one without this one. They got to be in a place mentally, emotionally, where they feel good about themselves. And like I said, I work with kids. If a kid doesn't believe they can learn, it's hard as heck to actually get them to learn anything. They have to be in the mental space where, okay, Mr. Nicholson I get them hyped up. I get them gassed up. Yo, man, dang, you're smarter than me. I'll be in the class making mistakes just so they can show me that they're not going to make the same mistakes I do, to prove to themselves that they can do something that I can't. Just a Jedi mind trick on them, but it works. Yeah. And so what I'm saying is, there's as well as I do, James, let's keep it funky.
I'm going to keep it funky with you.
Let's keep it funky.
I'm going to keep it real funky with you.
There's way too many of us who live off emotion and live off of the fact that we're not in a very good mental. That's why Love and Hip Hop and all these damn reality shows are winning right now in our community, because we're not in the right space to take that step. So you got to lay down the foundation, plant a seed, like I said before, so they can take. Brothers like you, though, can be in the background for right now, pulling the strings along, like lifting us up economically in the background for now. And when the masses are ready, that's when brothers like you can be out front pulling everybody, because they'll be ready for it. That's my thing.
Okay. Right. To both of you. To both of you. Good speech is both of you, right? Now, Now,
I feel like we're about to get body slammed. Richie, Frico, he's about to come with the pickles both up on his shoulders and go.
listen to this, okay? Something I learned very early as a soldier and when I became a leader, right? We've had one Black Panther movie that rocked the Black community, rocked it, right? But we have seen very little movement as a collective body, right? It's not we live off emotion. I remember Nas saying it in the song. They taught us to live off emotion. That's why we fighting each other so much, right? Here's the thing, right? And here's what I had to learn. All my leadership schools is one thing I always learn, right? Learn how to control your emotions. Learn how to quell your emotions, right? If I want you to elevate your thinking, right? There's two things I need to do that's very critical, right? One, I have to show you. I have to make it a visible thing for you to see what I want you to go after, right? That's what's missing right now. You see what I'm saying? The Black Panther piece, that movie that you're talking about, that you guys are all saying, that's the motivation piece to this. Okay, the motivation doesn't come first. The education and structure does. I got to show you what I want you to do. Now, if I'm a leader, my job is to influence you to do what I want you to do, right? So that means that I have to break you down and then start this process with you. Now, there's called a period of what they call consolidated tension, right? Where that person's going to basically back away, put some resistance against you because it's painful what they're going through because they learn it, right? And it's at that point where you motivate them. You see what I'm saying? But after that part, when you motivate them, then you have to show them the end result. And that's what we're missing. They don't have an end result. Right now, they don't see it. They just motivated right now with no clear direction. Now, I could say if we was like, oh, hey, look, we building these institutes. This is what we want to do. And the Black Panther movie is going out. But what's really dangerous is to motivate somebody with no direction and nothing for them to look towards and say, this is your goal. What is their goal?
Yeah, but the goal is in the movie.
What is the goal in the movie? Because remember,
wait. Okay, here I'm gonna tell you.
Hold on 1 second. This is what's really frustrating to me. It's a comic book. There is no goal in it. None.
Yes, there is a goal. There's a goal.
There's a message. There's a message.
There's a goal too.
Tell me the goal.
Okay.
The goal of Black Panther is.
Okay. The answer is wait.
I'm about to throw this wine at you. You said it's to uplift the Black people.
Hey man, don't show them what you got. Don't show them what you got.
No. I'm about to show it. I want to hear this. What's the message?
Now, before you and them Giants come whip my butt, hold on.
New York Giants.
Before you and the New York Giants come after me and the Carolina Panthers. Okay, here's my thing. You were mentioning that there is no goal within that movie. I highly disagree with you.
Then tell me what the goal is.
The goal from that movie is everything that you and I talk about all the time, James. You want, hold on.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Frico. I'm not gonna ask him because sometimes this brother from Brooklyn, every once in a while he'll lie just to prove his point. So Frico, let me ask you this. Has James ever talked about Black people being independent?
Yeah.
Has he ever talked about us owning our own businesses?
Oh yeah, always.
Has he talked about us having like our own, even our own military backing, our own protection?
Yes. 100%.
Has he talked about us having basically our own free land?
Yep.
What was that damn movie about, James?
Okay, that movie was about. You want me to explain to you, right?
No.
I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you.
No. Hold on. No, but here, hold on, because you're gonna break it down as James artist.
No, not.
Wait. 1 second. Before you go.
Question.
Now this is the Fire Hawkins episode right here. Now this is the fire. Hold on, before you go. Here's the problem. You gotta have some empathy, brother. You're gonna break it down. Wait a second. You're going to break it down as James Artist. I want you psychologically to break this down
I'm
as
about to break it down for you.
wait. As a kid, you know damn well, James, when we were younger looking at a movie like this, we would see all the glitz and glamour before we understand deeper messaging. So the fact that you have a movie that shows a black city with black engineers and black this and that as a child, that message is super powerful because they're not looking to the deeper meaning yet. Everything's at the surface value.
I didn't disagree with you. What did I say?
Okay.
We have to put the seed in the heads of what we
Yeah.
want. That movie's the motivational piece.
Oh,
right?
okay. My bad. Here's the one other thing that I forgot to mention. I would be on your side if Chadwick Boseman hadn't died. Here's what I'm saying. He had enough cachet and power along with the director, and they were like, yo, man, F this. We're going to do our own thing. Between him and that director and Michael B. Jordan, whoever else they want to bring along, you can have your own independent movie and call it Black Leopard or whatever the heck you want to do and do your own thing because you have a very star-studded base there. What I'm saying is right now, without Chadwick Boseman, I don't know if we can come out here with a Black Panther movie without the director and without the actors and be
But
like, this is it.
that's where I think you're wrong because I think we're shortchanging our talented black directors, and I think we're shortchanging our talented black studios. You see what I'm saying? I think it can happen. I think it could be even better because who knows better to portray the black community than us, right? And I will even support you on this part. At the end of the Black Panthers, when they built that school and that university, and they came down and he had the ship, and all the kids were like, "Oh, wow." That was a perfect message, right? That was the best part of the whole movie to me because it's doing what I expect them to do. It's showing them the vision, right? It's
And that was before all this current movement started. So
right.
you can even push the envelope further now.
Right. But now we still have to remember that it's just a movie. It's just a sci-fi movie. If we don't have the economic means to make that a reality, then that will die. I don't care who you are. You could be the best motivational speaker in the world. If you ain't God coming down, it ain't gonna stick. Period. It's not gonna stick. The Black Panther will wear off. It will. That's why Disney knows, oh, we gotta make a part 2. You see what I'm saying? That's why they make so many Avengers, because eventually it'll wear off.
I don't agree with that.
I know you don't agree with it. I know many people are not gonna agree with it because they're so pro this and pro that, right? But it's just human nature. Something else.
No.
Listen to what I'm saying. Think about it like this, Ken. Think about it like this, right? When we grew up, we had what movie? We had Malcolm X, right? And everybody left Malcolm X like, oh man, yeah, all hyped up. It was the greatest talked about movie. Now it dies. Everything dies.
Ain't nobody talking about a Malcolm X 2. What are you talking about right now?
Nobody's
talking about Malcolm X 2.
Think about this, Ken. Think of what I'm saying. Nobody's talking about Malcolm X 2, right? Because it was reality. It was real. This is a comic book.
Yes.
Understand, right?
You're making my points for me. Go ahead. Continue.
Right. And so this will die. If you foolish to think that if I make a Black Panther 2, that it's going to resonate in our community for 10 years.
Frico. I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And because you're an outside perspective.
Time out. Before you answer that question, I want to ask you both this, right?
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. I meant to ask this before you cut me off. Hold on, right? So you trying to tell me, I just want to understand it for the people, for the fans, and we let them decide, right?
Okay.
You're trying to tell me that if we don't have the economic means to build this vision, we'll be just fine with just the movie.
Hell no, I'm not saying that at all. No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, James, every generation plays its part. We can be the generation that puts the money behind it. Make the money, make this movie, let them make this movie for our younger generations so their mentality one day will be where we are. Because if they don't see themselves on the movie screen and they don't, we're taking a chance because you know what they're gonna see? They're gonna see them having those enslaved movies and this cool. That's the important thing about this movie.
We're
It
gonna be on
wasn't
the screen
about
no
the
matter what.
past. It was about the future.
We're
And
gonna
when
be on the
kids
screen no
look
matter
at
what.
movies that deal with the future, they see themselves. We're at a certain age where we're supposed to speak like this. If you were talking to all adults, I would completely agree with you. That's not the case. And here's the other thing that you said that was some bullshit. That this, oh, it's gonna die off. Let me tell you something, man. This is what I was gonna ask Frico. Frico, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Movies before this pandemic hit, over the last 4 or 5 years, there's a specific genre of movies that keeps coming out that we really don't like to see, that keeps on coming, and the studios just keep popping them out because, and there's movies from 20 years ago and 15 years ago and 30 years ago, and it starts with the prefix re. What kind of movies are those?
This is a riddle. What is this? Re?
He said riddle. What is it, James? You know it, James. What is it, James?
I don't know.
Remakes. They're remaking everything nowadays. And you're going to sit here and tell me that the Black Panther, after 3 years, 4 years, they're just going to shelve it. No, we can't. Oh, how much did it make? $1 billion. No, we can never do that again. It's dead. No, 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 no.
You're not making a good point.
Yes, I am, because you sound crazy saying that. There's no way that this movie comes out and people aren't going to see it.
What you're telling me is, right, that we have an opportunity right now with everything going on, right, to build Black Panther in our community, get economic strength from it, and you're saying, no.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Hold on.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
You're skipping everything I said.
No, I'm not.
I said, first of all, they're not going to let your black ass have Black Panther because they own the rights to it.
So this is
what are you talking about?
This is what I said. I said
you said don't make the movie at all.
No, I did not. I said I'm all for them making the movie. I said,
and how are they gonna make it without Disney? Because they own the rights to it, James.
Hold on. Because now you putting words in my mouth. I said I'm all for them making a movie, as long as they honor Chadwick. That's what I said. Have him go off in a fight scene or something like that. That's what I said.
We agree on that.
I honor them making a movie. My only point is that I'll just say this and I'll let it go. We are so much into a mindset of I'm gonna put it the way this colonel puts it to me. He said, and I thought it was the most racist thing he ever said, but it's the truth. He said, "You guys settle." He said, "You guys just settle." He says, "A white man will fight tooth and nail to get that dollar. You guys settle." And before you say anything, it's just a statement, right? We're always putting ourselves to the back burner when we can have the opportunity to make economic structure. It hurts us so much when that 1.4 billion doesn't trickle down to our economy. No matter how we shape it, cut it. I understand the emotional part. I understand that. But damn, how many decades?
So you're saying you would rather the movie not come out at all?
Hold on. Because you have to understand this. I don't know what Disney's doing for the Black community. I don't. They could be doing a lot, and I could be dead wrong.
I don't think they are.
You're right. And I understand what Ice Cube is saying when he said, "Hey, I'm at the Democratic Party because they didn't say one thing about how they're going to help the Black community."
I agree.
I understand where Ice Cube is coming from. I think the time, this is me, is right now. If we're going to change it for our youth. I think right now they need to see us fighting for every scratch and dollar that belongs to us. Because again, Black Panther is just like the NBA and the NFL and Major League Baseball. It does not succeed without this.
Now, let me tell you something. Do you think this whole conversation that we just had would be understood? Well, what's the percentage of kids that would understand the conversation we just had from elementary school up to 18?
I think it'll be understood pretty well. I don't
of kids that would understand.
Yeah, I don't underestimate these kids these days. I got an 8-year-old who if I taught my 8-year-old how to trade options,
That's your 8-year-old.
listen to what I'm saying. Again, we have to stop putting limitations and structures on our kids, right? If I go to your classroom, take all the black kids out of your classroom and teach them how to trade option stocks, I bet you I can get them to do it. Because everybody understands money. Everybody understands a better lifestyle. Everybody understands one things, right? It's the environment, period. If I take the kids out of the hood, right, and put them in an upscale area, their minds will automatically start to shift because they see it.
Oh, you mean like when they go see Black Panther and see the rich Wakanda society and they're in the middle of it because it's a movie? You mean like that?
Yeah, but then they go home and
Okay.
then they go home to a reality, right? They go home to a reality, right?
Okay.
No,
They
but they go home to reality because,
get to see it, right?
but this is the thing, they get to see it, right? The white kids get to go see it, right? But then the white kids get to go live it, and that's the difference.
So you
Because
don't
then,
have the motivation in seeing that? There's no motivation at all.
okay, but this think about what I'm telling you, Ken. They got motivated watching it. I'm not disagreeing with you with it, but there's nobody guiding them to go build it, to go see it.
That's where we come in.
We need the economics, Ken. We can't do it without it.
How is an 8 or 10-year-old going to provide the economics that you're talking about? Here's my point. We are the economics. Let them see the damn movie. So
That's why I said we need to
economics. Because here's the problem. Here's all I got to say. My question. Would you rather the movie not come out at all than to come out a part 2 under Disney? That's what I'm trying to get at.
I'm torn because if we get a movie that emotionally lifts us up, but puts them in a better economic position and provides them with stuff that's going to push them further away from us economically, infrastructures, and all that stuff, then yes, I have a problem with it because we have to understand this. We have to stop being emotionally and entertained. We have to stop being entertainment, period, and realize that I'll give this guy $1.4 billion and I'm sitting here, yeah, and I don't have nothing. Where is it coming from? Because that's our money. I'd rather take that money, go have a Black Panther movie, and build a hospital, build a better school, build a better neighborhood. I'd rather take that money and do that because that's tangible. That's real. They can see.
But so you tell me Disney's going to build a hospital?
I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that money, but they sure ain't coming to me.
Disney make the movie for us and we take our own money and build a hospital.
We ain't getting that money.
Now on to another thing you got wrong about I'm joking. No, but
let's move on. We've been on this for a minute.
No. So
let me just say one last thing.
How much you
go ahead, Frico.
So you have these two concepts, right? The message, the positive message, and the money aspect. I'm gonna say that they're not mutually exclusive, man. They're intertwined. The course of the kid's life. So I don't think that either of you are wrong, but I think that it can be a gray area where both of them hit up this optimal point that helps everyone.
So you're saying we need a combination of both, right?
I think that they usually come together. I mean, a positive message and motivation usually brings hardworking, just wanting to make it. James, what are you laughing about? Tell me what you're saying.
I know, right? He's about to send a hellified text to one of us. I can see it.
No, man.
No.
I'm here typing like this.
We got to move on to another thing you got wrong. Like I said.
But you're right. You're right, Frico. You're right. But it's right now. It needs to happen right now.
Frico, let's make it
a lifetime thing.
Let's make it for sports. Oh, I can't wait. So, just finished watching the Clippers mollywop the Dallas Mavericks. I think Kawhi dropped 33.
Hey, go to the restroom quick. You got that.
Frico, don't go. Where you going, Frico?
No, you're back.
Huh?
I'm
What'd you
ready.
say? Oh, you be right back.
I
Okay.
actually feel like using that.
So while he pisses away his L, we're gonna we're gonna go to the other L. This man that you see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the noble man with the beard, looks like a
I picked Portland to win, and Dame got hurt, so they got lucky.
No, hell no.
I don't want to hear nothing else about it.
Hell no. Wait a second. Before Dame got hurt, they were still getting blown out by 20. Wait, it said, yeah, let's fact check right now.
Look, man, we got so much other important stuff to talk about, man. We don't need to be
Fact check right now. You told us mess. I let you get away with it last time. Not this time. So
yeah.
let's go to scores.
Yeah.
But Dame
I
Lillard.
picked Portland.
Why you wait, brother? I'm trying to help you out.
I don't need
So
no help.
Dame Lillard played in game 4. In fact, Anthony Davis only played 17 minutes and left with back spasms. I didn't know that. Dame Lillard in game 4 played. He had in 26 minutes, 11 points and 1 steal, but he played and they lost by 20 points. Now let's go back to when he was completely healthy. Since you want to make that excuse, let's go. Okay, game 3, they lost by 8. Dame was healthy and had 34 points, and they still lost. And then you have game 2. Let's go back to that. And they took a L by 30. Now I give you, okay, that's the game where he messed up his finger, so I can give you that. But here's the thing.
What about game 1? You didn't say nothing about game 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. The one game they won.
That, boys, they credit, man. Stop shitting on them, man.
I'm not shit on anybody. You said they're going to win the series, and they won one game. And I tried to tell you, them boys don't play defense. You got caught up in the hype.
I didn't get caught up in the hype.
Considering our last conversation, you would think I'm the man that's caught up in the hype. You got caught up in the hype. They hung your draw.
I could take my L's like a man.
Go ahead.
I called it bad.
Talk about it.
So, ain't nothing to talk about, man. They got their ass kicked. Let's move on to round 2. I want to talk about my pick that I did get right.
No, I'm the big winner. Hold on. I got to do my kiss.
I'm about to mute you.
Frico. Now we got to talk about the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, Frico.
I don't remember anything that happened prior to the 2-day strike.
Let's put it like this.
That's all. I
You
can't
have a valid excuse because Porzingis did take an L.
Porzingis was out, and Luka was playing on a bum foot.
But you don't know basketball.
I know enough to cross you over anytime I want to.
No, I get to gloat right now because y'all wrong stuff. Let me gloat for 1 second.
I picked the Clippers.
Yeah, we picked the Clippers because Frigo don't know basketball.
I was trying to be that was that. So no, I was trying to get like a.
Before
good.
Before you start with your excuses, let me tell you something about basketball, okay? Because you've never been this good.
Please
Right?
educate me.
Let me explain something. You've never been this good. Let me explain something to you. If you're really good at basketball and you're just breaking down everybody and shooting and getting all these points and just the man and all this stuff. Now, I'm going to talk to a real hooper. James, if you're going off in basketball over and over and over again, eventually, what is the other team going to do?
Push a defender on you?
No, they're going. But specifically, what strategy are they going to use? That they did on Dame Lillard.
Double team.
They're going to double team off the trap. What had they not done to Luka the first few games?
Trap him.
What did I tell this fool that they were going to do, and that was going to calm things down?
I'll trap him.
Now you may speak, Frico.
Yeah, you trap him while he has a bum foot. That helps too.
There you go.
Hey man, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't know anything that happened prior to this.
He
I
dropped.
don't know what happened in the NBA
Look,
prior
he
to
dropped a triple-double with 40
Thursday.
Look, he's a great player, man. But you know, I think they do get a championship in the future if everybody's healthy. It's just that he never won a playoff round before. You never faced eliminations, and you and Paul George started playing basketball again.
All right, so I'm gonna take another 4-out pick then, just because I lost the other 4-out pick. Utah is coming out of the West.
What?
You mean they're gonna beat Denver?
No.
They're already in Denver. They're gonna beat them tonight. Then eventually they're gonna beat the Clippers.
How much?
That's why. No, I'm just
How
no,
much? How much?
no. I'm just throwing stuff. How did
No. How much? How much?
Smoking that stuff.
500?
let's do
A band? Let's do a band.
500,000? Who said that last time?
I got a band. I got my
No,
walk
I'm
straight.
not. I'm not betting any money per se, but I'm gonna talk shit if Utah happens to win. It's gonna be the entire year of talking shit.
Come on.
What you gonna bet? Vibranium?
Hey, I got all kind of cards in here. What do you want to do?
You gonna bet your dowry? No, I shouldn't have said that. That's a clue.
Dowries for women, man.
Man,
I
look,
know, that was the point.
look. The game is tied right now. So they up by Denver's up by 1 right now.
Okay, let's bet on this game then, James.
And no, it's not even guaranteed that Utah wins this series.
Yeah, let's bet that $50 on it.
What, you bet $50 that Utah is gonna make it to the what?
No, just wins this game today.
No.
Look, James is like, oh, they're down by 1. What's going
I'm
on?
not betting on Denver. I'm betting on the Clippers. I got a band on the Clippers. What you want to do? A band.
I bet you. I take that bet.
I think the Clippers are the best. I mean, I agree with you guys, but I can't
Oh,
agree.
James is gonna take your bet. He got 50 on. You got 50 on Denver.
50 on Denver.
It's going 7 games, Frico. You better keep your $50. It's going 7. And I know
Do the series, James, or just tonight?
tonight.
You said tonight.
Tonight.
All right,
It's going
let's
7.
do tonight. Okay,
You better shut your mouth.
done tonight.
Oh God.
Tonight 50. Okay.
All right, y'all both send me the cash app.
50 tonight on Denver.
All
Because
right, so let's.
Utah could put them away right now.
In all honesty, did we even touch on? We touched on the boycott. Now let's touch on every round. We'll have the chance to redo our picks just because it's fun. Why not? Oh, dang that, it's fun. Now we have what we originally said, like I just said. So let's repick. I'm gonna give you Scrubs a chance. Y'all Scrubs, and I went undefeated. So
Oh, we already picked. Already got Boston going to the Eastern Finals. We already picked that.
But then, okay, we're gonna go through series by series though.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you got Boston over the Heat. Frico, who you got?
Boston.
Okay. Wait.
No, I'm gonna go Heat.
No. But wait, no. My bad. Boston against Toronto. Who
Yeah,
you
they're playing
got?
Toronto. They're not playing Heat.
And I had the Boston, and who'd you have, Frico?
I had Boston.
Over Toronto. Cool.
No, you had the Miami Heat playing the
Bucks,
Dallas Mavericks.
I got the Heat against the Bucks.
No, we all agreed on Boston.
What about Heat against Bucks? Who you got?
Frico had the Heat against the
No.
Dallas Mavericks in the finals.
You guys know I had to take. Okay, right now. I had Boston and Dallas. So instead of Dallas, I'm gonna go ahead and choose the Clippers. Just kidding. I'm gonna stick with Utah, man. Utah, because there has to be.
I was about to say, did he just say 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, Utah is gonna win the Western Conference,
Okay.
possibly the World Championship.
But we don't have to go all the way yet, brother. We're gonna take it round by round. So we're just gonna stick to this round. So you got because that's easier to keep up with in the future.
Yeah.
So you got Boston. Do you have the Heat or the Bucks?
That's gonna be tight.
This is the
I
pick
still
that
think
shows
the
whether or
Bucks-
not you know basketball. You didn't know basketball last week. You
Yeah.
picked on this week.
I'll write a book for you on basketball, and then you can read it overnight and then get back to me with notes.
What? Would you just? Did he just?
I'll write you a book about the game of basketball, kid, and you can supplement what happened in real life. Oh, hey. Good night, kids.
Good night. I love you.
Good night.
Good night, boy. I love you. Go.
There you go. Beat him up.
Get him. He's talking trash. Get him.
I'm a good daddy. Go.
Good night.
Good night, brother.
Good night.
Nation, don't do that. What are you doing? Hey, man, don't get stuck. I love you too. I love when y'all get out. Thank you. Good kids.
Cute.
Um,
Wait, so we're okay.
Man,
so
you gotta choose, man.
again,
Here's the
wait,
thing. So,
against the Bucks, man. How many times we gotta say it? Heat
here's
against
what
the Bucks.
here's where I am on the basketball knowledge
Here
level.
we go.
I know that
Give
you're gonna say the Heat. No, you're gonna say the Heat because it's like a more basketball, uh, technically a better
Yes,
basketball
because
team.
we know
Okay,
basketball.
I got the Bucks. I got the
I,
Bucks.
I'm saying the Bucks have
I got the Bucks.
the
I
MVP.
got the Heat. I got the Heat.
I got the Bucks, but I think it's gonna be 6-7 games.
Yes, both of y'all got the Bucks. Y'all suck. That's what I'm talking
You
about.
think Tyler Hero is gonna score on?
Fire Options podcast. Watch this whole. Watch what Let me tell y'all non-basketball people once again why the Heat are gonna beat the Bucks. There's a young man that everywhere he's been has been this on like Sam Cassell when it comes to those moments. James, you know who I'm talking about. What's that man's name that plays for Miami? What's his name?
Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Butler. Now, let me tell you something about this dude. Do you all remember the playoffs last year? Philly. I mean, do you remember the playoffs last year when Philly played Toronto and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the one that when they really needed a bucket, who was the one hitting big shots in that 7-game series?
Oh, yeah, it was Jimmy Bucket.
Okay, thank you. Who's the one that's going to be hitting big shots for the Bucks?
Hey, man. hey. Your boy is playing basketball.
Hold on. That's not the answer you should have.
Hey,
That's the problem.
No, this no.
Y'all don't know basketball.
The Greek freak gonna get his. There's nobody gonna stop the Greek freak.
No. Not till the end of the game. He's gonna stop himself.
Oh yeah. But Middleton,
yeah, he can hit
watch
it.
that boy, man. I kept watching him. I said, hey, everybody sleeping on him. Everybody sleeping on him.
He finally decided to play last game.
Look, I've been putting that dude in my FanDuel lineups. I'm telling you, he's one of the top 4 scorers in FanDuel right now. That boy.
Off of last game, the games before that, he was doo-doo.
He was doing pretty good he did pretty good the last 2 games, man. I'm telling you, Middleton is doing good. Miami's got a good squad. I mean, Buckets, what's that old boy name? The power forward?
You mean Bam?
Yeah, Bam, he's good. And they got a solid point guard. I like Dragic, or what his name is.
Hurt too much.
Huh?
He gets hurt. But they got a lot of dogs too. They got a lot of dogs that can shoot like Crowder and Kelly Olynyk. He's not.
I'm gonna give you a name. Who's the best 3-point shooter in the NBA right now?
Duncan Robinson.
George Hill.
Oh. You're going by statistics.
What?
You're going by
you're going by numbers and all that math. So,
no. But here's what it is. You don't know basketball.
Oh, come on, man.
You don't get enough minutes, man. You don't get enough minutes.
Thank you. Who?
George Hill.
Thank you. You don't know basketball.
I thought the question was who can hit a shot. Like, who's their shooters? He's a shooter. Like, he's good. James said.
That dude is not a pure shooter, man. Come on. What are we talking about
If he had that percentage and shot like Steph Curry, then I'd be like, yeah, let me shoot.
Yeah.
Right. So he's
like me.
One. Below him, the second one is like 20 places out. Like, it's Seth Curry. It's Seth.
That's because he's not shooting much, man. If you're shooting 5 3-pointers a game,
you have to have a certain threshold of threes to shoot, even in the shortened season, to get that stat.
But it's not effective, right? It's not effective throughout the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't put him on my FanDuel line. You know how much he costs in FanDuel? Like $4,000, man. It's like the lowest, amount you could pay for a player.
Yeah, it's good value, James. Pick him up.
No, because his usage sucks.
Richie's funny.
His usage is low, so he's not in the game enough for it to be of value.
All right, we got to keep it moving, gentlemen, to the next series. Now they don't list this one yet, but I know it's coming up. They just haven't listed it yet. Basically, Houston and LA, who y'all got?
Ooh, that's gonna be a good series.
I'm gonna
I
go.
got LA.
Will it be?
It'll be good. It'll be a better than Portland. I got LA though, because Harden.
I think that dude, when Russell came back, they're a different team now. Like last night, did they play last night? Yeah, they played. Russell came back, and he didn't really shoot that well, but he was like 7 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, something like that.
I mean,
But it's a
the only
different
reason,
team when he's back on, and he's still a little rusty. So
the only reason I think it was a good series. Go ahead, go Freak. I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying they have. They have a shot.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting because they have nobody for Harden. Nobody. There, well, there's really nobody, no team that got somebody for Harden, but and then the guard situation, they ain't got nobody for a healthy Westbrook. So I still give the edge to LA just because Houston plays such small ball that I don't think
Houston's
they
big
got.
man, PJ Tucker, is that the?
Yeah, they center. Anthony Davis is probably have
He
50
can't
points.
cover Anthony Davis. He's gonna.
Yeah.
No one can cover Anthony Davis, but no, that's what no one can cover Russell or Harden.
So now if it's an up and down game, Lakers are going to have some trouble because they ain't got no bench.
Right.
LA, I want to say 6, but I'm thinking 5.
Yeah, I see it in 5.
I want to say 6, but here's the problem.
I just don't trust Hardaway in the clutch.
First of all, no, Harden is not clutch. Second of all, you're running a gimmick, and gimmicks work against teams like who are they playing now? OKC, where you have a great player, Chris Paul, but he's not at his peak. He's not. Gimmicks don't work against greats. It just doesn't. I'm not saying this LA team is great, but this ain't gonna work against AD because he be out rebounding big men. What's he gonna do with all these mouses in the house? And he's not rebounding against. Okay, AD is not one of these guys. We talk about this all the time in UNC basketball. I don't know about Duke. Big men who don't bring the ball down to the ground before they put it back up. AD will catch a ball like this and go right back up like this. You know what I'm talking about, James?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, he's going to kill down low. The only thing that's going to hurt LA is if that shit becomes a running gun. If they start running and gunning,
Which is why I said maybe 6.
They could.
yeah, it's going to be painful for them because they just don't got quality bodies to switch in and out like Houston does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now here, let's get to some schematics. Do you think Houston is going to be able to force LA not to go small, but to make Davis have to play the center, and McGee and Howard are going to have to hit the bench? Do you think Houston is going to play well enough to
Hell
force?
yeah. I already said that McGee and Howard going to the bench from game 1.
You think so?
It'll be stupid if they put Howard and McGee in that motherfucker. Because have you seen Houston play?
Yeah, but PJ Tucker's been off though.
He's a non-factor to me. I think he's just out there because he's the best available. You know what I'm saying? But especially if they start hitting their threes, if Harden is rocking threes and they running and gunning, you can't have Howard and McGee in the game. Because you saw what Golden State did. They took McGee out quick. They're like, hey, man, get out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's when they had old boy, Capella.
Yeah.
And they still was like, yeah, get out of here.
He got MVP that year. JaVale McGee. MVP of Shaq and the Fool. He got MVP of Shaq and the Fool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so and it goes to show you if a team like Golden State was having problems with them and they going 3 for 3 with them, and you know how well Houston hits the 3 at a high rate and high clip. I'd be surprised, man, if they got Howard in there and McGee in there, man.
Oh, by the way, Frico, Denver is up by 8.
There's still another quarter left, man.
Jamal Murray got 22 in the first half.
if they let him go off, then
That
Yeah,
dude,
he does seem to be the barometer for them, doesn't he? If
hey,
he goes off,
he
they win.
elevated his game.
yeah,
I had him and Ingram as the most improved players of the year.
Of the year? Hell no.
Yeah, him and Ingram.
Hell no. Ingram,
Especially,
yes, not Jamal Murray. No.
I think so. He had a good year.
Not most improved, but he had a good year.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good series. I can't wait for that to start.
yeah, man. In all honesty, this playoffs, I mean, it's been good. It's really hard to predict, and even with these prediction shows that we're doing, we don't really know shit. I know I know shit.
It's
Okay,
just weird in the bubble too, man.
it is. I mean, like it's hard to really call it because you got all these intangibles like emotions and family's not there and side chick's not there.
Families are coming in though.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean though. It adds a variable that makes it me trying to predict something like the Heat Bucks. It's almost impossible.
No, it's not. The Heat are gonna win because you don't know basketball.
Uh, all
I will tell you this: if
right, $50.
if they get in foul trouble, it's over. They're gonna
Who?
get in foul trouble. Lakers.
If who gets in foul trouble?
My bad. The Lakers. The Lakers get in foul trouble.
Oh, like LeBron and AD, basically.
Yeah, one of them gets in foul trouble. Mess with Harden. It's gonna be.
You already said it. We all know. Wait, let's come on. Are we gonna keep it 100? We already know. Harden ain't about that clutch life.
No, he ain't.
We already know
Westbrook ain't either. That's why I don't have him winning.
that. Is that? I mean, we've seen that a few times. Them dudes will they'll make decisions that are not wise. They'll shoot. Like you can just tell when people get nervous.
But I will say this: it's 2020. That's all I'm gonna say.
It happened. Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So I think that's about it as far as the basketball is concerned. I still got the Clippers taking the whole thing. Freako's got Utah coming out of the West. Can't remember, Joe. Crack is bad. And then we got
There's no crack in Utah.
no, they got meth.
Yeah, that's on the back of
Shit, that's worse.
The only thing else we have to move on to now is maybe the politics of the week. We talked a little bit about the impending situation in America that's happening. We had all of our. Oh, here's what I want to talk to you about. Your boy Trump is playing dirty as hell, man. He like these commercials nowadays. I saw one, I want to say Thursday, where there's a young Asian or Latino she's trying to throw some color in there. Woman walking to her car. She gets in her car, and then some ruffians surround the car, break in the car, and then they show after the fact her being gone, and the glass is all over the ground, and then Trump throws out in the advertisement in Joe Biden's America. Oh, that's what happened. Initially, she has a gun on the console of her seat, but then the gun disappears, and then she gets whatever presumably happens with the glass being broken and blah blah blah. And then it says, "In Joe Biden's America, you can't carry your weapons and this and that." I was like, "Dang, y'all are really." This is
He's
some.
playing. He's playing to their base, man. They
Yeah,
love it.
exactly.
He's using
Which
fear.
is what I talked about
Fear.
before. Which is why I think he has unfortunately, has still a good chance of winning because he plays to his base better than the other guy. Now we look at this and we're like, "Yo, you are bugging." His base looks at it like, "Darn tootin', damn goddamn right. That's exactly what it is." So, what do y'all think about that? Like this dirty politics and what's the vibe that you're catching right now from from the political scene.
He's an evil villain, man. He is that person. He's the bad guy in every movie. Um, and he's inciting all this stuff. It's scary. And I disagree with you on this point. I don't think that him playing to his base matters anymore. I think that without, I think they're gonna cheat. I think cheating is the main reason that I think that they could win. I think that without cheating, it would be closer, and maybe Biden would have a much better shot. But the cheating is already happening. It's happening as we speak. Every time that he takes, he puts a private sector guy in charge of the USPS, and that guy used to donate to him, and he's friends with him. He's taken down the pillars of our democracy in order to cheat. So I'm more scared of the cheating than I am of, because his base is already his base. I think James said that last week. They're already on board. The cheating is the X factor, I think, and I'm not sure how to deal with that. Unless everyone just physically goes out and votes, which is bad news in a pandemic.
It's like
Cheating. Keyword of the day: cheating.
It's like I said before, man. I just don't see the motivation for the people to go vote for Biden. I'm just not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? It's like fascism, man. It's like Trump is like a fascist party. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I just tell people prepare for the 4 years of Trump.
Yeah, the funniest thing is these two acronyms, BLM and Antifa. Antifa's kind of a split word thing. If you look at the words themselves, their definition, they're noble, good things. We were anti-fascist in World War II. That's why we got rid of these assholes, Mussolini and Hitler and all these too. But they've turned these words. I mean, the whole thing, Black Lives Matter. They turned it into something negative. I'm not even sure how they flipped that script. And Antifa, they kind of fucked themselves over because they just act a little weird, and there used to be a bunch of Bernie Bros, but ultimately the word Antifa is anti-fascist, and we are all as Americans inherently anti-fascist.
What did you just say?
As Americans, we're anti-fascist.
No, that's not true at all.
Wait, what do you mean? I mean, I'm saying that fascism is a bad thing, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
In World War II, we fought against fascists.
We fought against other fascists in order
Yes.
to usher in our own.
Right. So my point is just the language, like the linguistics of that word. It's not a bad thing. But it's been twisted, and Antifa's kind of twisted it himself. I don't know. That's kind of a random thought, but it's just how do you turn these words into such a negative thing?
Fascist is a bad thing. Continue.
Right.
Really, really bad thing.
Yeah. That's a bad thing. Point is, how do they turn these words where you're like anti-bad thing, and you're like, okay, people's lives matter that are Black who've been getting fucked over, and people in the past didn't treat them like they mattered, and something they still do to a certain extent. These words are logical. They've been turned into like these negative just concepts and all mushed together, and that is part of the strategy. Like they're saying that all this BLM and Antifa are the reason for this increasing crime, and I think we were talking about this last week, but a lot of voters still worry about crime to some degree. And yeah, they could kick themselves in the foot. And Black Lives Matter. And they're being helped to kick themselves in the foot by the way that they've twisted the definition of these words that are very powerful, strong, good words.
But
I'm kind of in awe of that.
did they twist it? Or remember, I told you guys when we first started this podcast, what did I say about them saying? Well, let me stop talking to y'all like that. That's my teacher talk. I have to talk like that when I'm teaching to pull knowledge out of them. So let me just say what I'm going to say. I told you guys that I read somewhere something that made a lot of sense. They could have easily made the name of the movement Black Lives Matter 2.
Right.
But they didn't, which I believe for a reason. Just another way to have two sides bickering against each other because rhetoric and semantics mean a lot.
This goes back to what we were talking about the other week with the words defund the police.
Yeah, exactly.
Productive.
When I mentioned to James about what was it about? Oh, football players boycotting the season, and I was like, or quitting the season or whatever, and I was like, you know what, that doesn't sound right. What's a better way to put it? And I forgot what you said, James, but you gave me a better way of stating it that made it sound more positive or whatnot, and it sound less negative. Here's the point: words matter. No matter what we want to believe,
Yeah,
little something like that. Black Lives Matter too. Now the races, they were going to be racist regardless. So to play, on the other side of the coin of my own argument, these races are going to be racist regardless. You could have said white lives matter, and they wouldn't have got mad about that. But whatever you say, they're going to take it and flip it. But I just feel as though putting it out there like that, there was an intent behind it to cause the division that we have now. Because you could have easily swayed it one way or the other where you're more inclusive and you chose not to. I don't know. I just find that very enlightening, funny, ironic, whatever you want to call
yeah, I mean, racist is this. It's just a part of America. So, it is what it is. It's something that we just have to live with. And I said it before. It's not going. It's going to take a separation of people before it can get fixed. As long as we right next to each other, they hate is there for a reason, and we will never understand it. I never met a racist black person. I met people. I met black people who are afraid of white people. I met black people who are cautious of white people. I met black people who are, hesitant around white people. But I never met a black person that's like, oh, I just hate that white person because he's white. You know what I'm saying? If I met a black person that hates a white person because they did something to him. Right. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to stop racism. I don't even have that thought process to walk in my mind like, oh, I hate you because you're white. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I've never, the Ken, Michael, Brandon, everybody we grew up with, we always were cool with white people. So, but we've all been subject and seen racism. You know what I'm saying? Some shape, form, or fashion. So, I don't know how to address it. And that's the sad part. You know what I'm saying? Because there is like no. It's a mental illness. That's what it is. It's a mental illness that won't get labeled a mental illness because there's too many people with power that have it.
Right.
Is it a mental illness or a strategy?
I think it's in them, man. I don't think it's so much a strategy. The strategies can be changed. You know what I'm saying? But hate can't. This is just pure evil.
Well, it's taught down the generations too.
Yeah.
But see, we go back, but we don't go back far enough, Frico. So, James, how long did the Moors rule over Spain?
I mean, for hundreds of years, man.
Like 700 years, right?
726, I believe, 27.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
7.
shortly after that is not shortly, but and remember when we were coming up, Frigo, do you remember in middle school and high school when the Moors ruled Europe? What do they call that?
That was in Spain, right?
Yeah, what do you remember what they called that?
Uh, Imperialism, conquering. I don't know, what is it?
Oh,
Dark Age.
the dark. We used to have, ladies
Oh,
and gentlemen, and you may still have it now, a timeline in our social studies book where it would say an accomplishment by Europeans, accomplishment, and then Dark Ages. Like
oh,
have a page and then go back to
I don't know if
stuff
that
that
connection.
they had done.
Jeez. Something to think about.
So here's my point. Okay. Um, they know what we're capable of, a lot of these races, which is why they play the offensive so much. They figure if we're on the offensive and we keep them on the defensive, they can't be who they're really meant to be. I think that's their strategy.
I mean, you may be right. I mean, it's still race, though. It's still racism,
And
and it's
what I'm
still.
saying is, I don't give them the benefit of the doubt of saying they don't know what they're doing. They don't realize how racist they are. No, they know
No.
exactly what
That's
they're
not
doing.
that. You know,
Know
yeah.
that, but they know that from their own history. That's why in those books it said the Dark Ages. That wasn't an accident. They
No,
knew exactly what the hell went down there.
they
They
need to
just
burn all the history
eliminate
books, man.
that to us, and they're trying to wipe it out of existence by doing something like that. You didn't jump into that history because you knew if you're sitting here with a classroom that we grew up in where there's Indian kids, black kids, Asian kids, white kids, and we learn in our social studies class that for 700 years, black people were kicking ass up in Europe and ruling stuff. They did not want that message to get out.
Those are not in my book.
No, no, I don't. Yeah, that was not in. That was
Our
not.
textbooks, our social studies, they stopped in the 60s or like the 50s, or sorry, after World War II. Because like I remember we were studying World War II, like
Yep.
sixth or seventh grade, and then it just ended. School ended. It's like what happened to the
That dude, he still had more wealth than anybody ever.
Mansa Musu.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they used to do, man. They would if and I know James remembers in those timelines in our social studies book, you would see this happened, this happened, this happened in Dark Ages.
Yep.
And you didn't think to yourself, like what happened. The way they explained it was, oh, it was a time where we just didn't have the right technology and we didn't have this and that. They didn't let you know, oh, black people were in there ruling stuff. And the reason why a lot of these Spanish people and Portuguese people and this and that are closer to Africa, the reason why they look more tan is because brothers were coming out of Africa and taking over that whole. They don't, that's powerful. That's
Mm-hmm.
a powerful narrative.
It's
Stuff that
like Black Wall Street having 600 businesses during the Great Depression and killing it, you know. And what they come do? They come bombing and massacre us because we had one of the best economies America's ever seen at the time.
So to end this for tonight, we've been kind of all not all over the place, but I don't know. It's been a very eventful week, and I mean, what are you guys looking forward to in the upcoming weeks? I'm not looking forward to football season because I see that, and we didn't even talk about colleges, these idiotic colleges.
And I just saw that
Bama?
I had the highest cases of coronavirus today. It's had
Oh,
North Carolina
we
Up
had our
50?
highest number.
Nice.
since the beginning of this. They had like over 3,000 cases today.
And you know why? They just had 1,000 kids from UNC get get admitted for having it.
God.
So you dum dums who don't want to believe anything. You sent your kids to school, and now they're gonna go back home with the disease and spread it in hometown. Think about that. So I mean, think about how bad we screwed ourselves.
Think about this. You
So,
can recatch it.
Really, I forgot about that.
And it was a kid that caught it, and the second time he caught it, it was a different strand. So that means there's different strands of this shit.
I heard there's 6 different strands.
Yeah. So you got a vaccine for all 6? Like, come on.
yeah, so what I'm looking forward to,
Here we
your
go.
question,
Here we go, Frico. Here we go.
no, to your question, Ken, what I'm looking forward to is
Yes.
the elimination of those secondary virus strands, because that shit scared the shit out of me. You can get reinfected. That changed the entire game about the whole reliance on vaccines, and it makes everything more complex. So what I'm looking forward to is hopefully less complexity, but it's probably not gonna happen.
Less complexity.
And let me say so one more thing on a positive note.
Yes, sir. Please.
James said that, I think James mentioned that he only sees separation as one of the key ways that we can get out of this. And I'll say from personal experience, to me, the way that this all changes is actually growing up with and having friends that are different. Having a black friend, having a white friend, having an Indian friend, having an Asian friend. That breaks down all the barriers. And personally, for me, that's how it kind of played out. And also, like, I'm not, and I get it. I'm like light brownish, so I had different advantages. I didn't have to deal with everything that you guys had to deal with, but I do think that just from my personal experience, once you make your first good friend that's different, it should change the way that you see the world. Hopefully.
I got you, James. I got you, James. I got you.
Yeah, guys, I'm giving you my personal experience.
No, we understand.
And that's your personal experience.
Yeah.
And we all have personal experiences, but there's only one problem with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because personal doesn't always influence the world. And from a world perspective, there's only one group of people. I used to tell this to my grandmother in her later years. We used to have these conversations because she was trying to figure out, like, is this ever going to end? This is when Trump was just about to get into office. And thank God she passed away before she saw him in office. Her last president was Obama. Thank God. I know, right? But here's the one thing we used to talk about. And I used to tell her, I was like, Grandma, I want things to be better. But from what I've seen, there's only one group of people. I'm not going to say who they are, but you'll know who fought against every other group of people in the world. So you have some group of people who will fight amongst themselves, and then you have neighborly groups of people where this nation will fight against this nation over resources or because they're right next to each other. There's only one group of people who have systematically gone around the world and started crap with other groups of people. That's all I'm gonna say. So I don't know about this "we are the world" thing.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying on an individual level. The world is made up of a bunch of humans. On a
definitely.
Human by human level, like if you go one by one, it adds up.
But those individuals need to start taking account for their group even more, or people are going to be able to distinguish individuals from the group.
What you have to understand is that we've tried since the very beginning, since we got introduced to this group of people, right? We've tried, and like I said, Rishi, like Fico, we grew up together. Brian is Asian. right? When I had a homeboy I used to ride hard with. Remember Ethan, white boy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, cross country guy came to my house plenty of times, right? You know, we got you're from a different culture, Frico. So we grew up together, and that man, we never had a problem with each other at all. We're thick as thin. But what you have to remember is when we all go home and go do separate things, and we're not amongst each other, me, Ken, and Micah, we looking at the world differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, you may move a little bit more comfortably. We're not. We're like, oh man, you
I mean,
know.
I definitely moved more comfortably. I mean, I don't think there's any argument to that. But I also, it was, and I'm not even sure if this is relevant, but it was just really weird because when I went home every day, I was going home to my country. You know what I mean? Everything was that. So I didn't have, I guess, you know, parents that listen to music from the 60s and 70s, soul music, and like taught them how the world works in America, how to handle yourself at school. I learned that on the fly, but I'm saying it's possible. And I think that just, and I'm not being, you know, or hope I'm not being too, you know, optimistic, but I saw it happen to me and my brother, and I think that there must be a lot more people like that are, you know, they're learning just from having friends that are different.
My bad, James. 1 second. I'll give him a little credit to this point. I will give you this, Frico.
Yeah.
I look on Facebook and I look at the people from that other group who hung out with us. They weren't necessarily best friends with us, but the people from that other group that were willing to come and play with us and have us inside their house and do all this and that, and were truly cool with us. When I look on the Facebook now, most of them are on our side because they grew up.
That's my point. Yes.
But here's the problem though, Frico. Then there's the other half of that group who are willing to hang out with us, who will never hang out with us. Did you see this sheriff in Arkansas got fired this week because his phone call with his wife somehow, his wife must have snitched on him. She must have wanted to get out of that relationship. So his wife, this is 2020, his wife is in the grocery store, ends up having a casual, not a conversation, but just a passerby, small talk with some black dude while they're in the grocery store. In the car, he's telling her, I can't believe you out in public talking with a nigger. Well, I just said hello and we just, blah, blah, blah. He's a nigger. You can't do that, blah, blah, blah. Yo, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, that conversation is not exclusive. In fact, it's a lot more prevalent than we want to believe. Maybe not as prevalent as 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s.
I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I think, like I said before, that the COVID-19 is just now showing us how much relevant it is, how much prevalent it is now. You know what I'm saying? You know, and here's the thing, Rishi. I mean, Frico, you are. You said something. You said something very, very, very important. You said you went home to your culture, right?
Right. But I'm saying it wasn't even an American, it was a completely different country.
Right.
It wasn't like the Black American experience or the White American experience. It was just a different country.
Right. And that's so important, right? Because you got to experience your heritage in this land. You see what I'm saying? Which is critical, man, because you got to grow up in this land and still have your homeland with you. We didn't, right? We had to figure out who we were. You know what I'm saying? We as a culture in each of our families' households, we were speaking about being black and being proud, but it was in the effort to fight against an oppressive country.
Right.
It wasn't about being black and being proud because we come from this part of Africa, right? Because when I was growing up, I didn't know what part of Africa I was from. I always wanted to know,
Yeah.
but then again, I was like, man, how are we all from this one area in Africa? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Where
that's a good
you
point.
know where you from, where you know your culture is. You know what I mean? You still speak the language of your people.
Yeah.
And what was our language before we got here? I mean, I know what it is. I know what it was, but I ain't gonna say it now. But you know what I'm saying? But back then, we didn't know. But we used to get made fun of, right? Y'all was speaking. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff that people,
They're pretty good, James.
That's the
but,
oldest
but,
language
but
known
that's
to
what
man.
it was for us. You see what I'm saying?
Known to man. Sorry.
But I mean, actually, that's what they portrayed as our culture, right? And so even though we laugh at it now,
You
but
caught me off guard. I'm not laughing at the coach. I'm laughing at your
but it's sad because that's what it is. So it's not it's just not the same, man. It's I guess it's hard to say because you have to be black in America, but
Yeah, no, I went off on a tangent, but you connected it, and I agree with you. It's different.
I mean, and once again, it comes back to something we spoke about before. You got to have a base. That's what's missing from the African American community. And even though, back to our other conversation, James, that Black Panther movie was a movie. It's not real. It's fantasy. But that was my thing about it. I saw that movie establish a base of what we want for ourselves to have. I think that was
that.
Right.
and see, that was my thing. You have to, it was a goal. That's how there's no, excuse me, I'm not gonna say there's no black person. I'm not gonna speak monolithically, but let me speak amongst myself. Was it perfect? No. Did it have everything I wanted? No. But did it represent us and our culture and our society in a way that when I walked out of that movie theater, I was thinking to myself, dang, I wish I was walking out into that instead of this? Yes.
Yeah, we all did.
Okay. That's my thing.
Wakanda had the best tech in the world.
Exactly. It's
And,
a base.
and
A base. All these things we're mentioning tonight. Base. You gotta have a base before you can move forward with these grandiose ideas. And we lucked out because a lot of people that come from overseas, like let's say if you come from the Middle East and your parents don't have the kind of situation Frico was talking about where you come home
you're in a different country.
that culture, what they're trying to sell out. You knows what, let's be real. You know what's gonna happen to those kids whose parents come over here and they're second generation, but their parents sold out and don't want to tell them about their culture from back home and all that stuff. They end up they end up getting messed up.
Yeah, they
They
get
end up
confused.
psychologically messed up. Am I right or wrong,
Yeah,
Frico?
yeah, you're right. They
They
get
end
confused about the world.
yes, they're lost as hell, confused because you provided no base. So what we keep on repeating here tonight is that's what we need. And whether it's sometimes men of our age, we need that physical, substantial base. And my only point before was working with kids, I see they don't necessarily they need the monetary foundation that you're speaking of, but they also need this figment of their imagination, that kind of base.
The spark, the spark.
Spark, yes, that kind of spark as a goal to say, I can get that. We can actually get this. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And you know how I know it worked? Because that's what they did when they turned Jesus from this to them.
Right.
That was not an accident. All these movies we see where they're being portrayed. When was the last time we had an Asian superhero? Been a minute. When was the last time we had, besides Black Panther, a black superhero, Indian? whatever kind of culture, we always see them. Why? Because they're trying to hold themselves up to a certain plateau. And we're looking up at them because they know how powerful that is. And that's my point.
Right.
You gotta, we gotta learn from their evil tricks. They showed us a long time ago, yo, you can take these movies, all this crap that's fiction and blah blah blah, and you can make it into whatever you want it to be, and actually lead these people like sheep into the direction you want them to go. So,
But
Birth,
you,
Birth of a Nation, first movie ever. We're gonna have a bunch of white men dressed up in black makeup, look like they're murdering and raping a whole bunch of white women. Not because anybody thinks it's true. You can look at the screen and tell it's not them, but that's that base of fear. That's the base they were laying down. Your homeboy Trump does it all the time now. He
yeah,
lays down bases of fear. Everything is controlled by a base, and then you take off from there. And
yeah,
that's
you gotta understand it. What they're really gifted at is acquiring the resources to build that base.
mm,
Acquiring because it comes down from generations.
But even before then, they'll rape, murder, pillage, and take it. You see what I'm saying?
what was the first thing that they did in order to set these wheels in motion? They decided we before we even go, and this is a history lesson. I know you got to go, James. Before we even go and set off around the world, all these different countries from Europe to colonize, we're gonna come together and agree. I don't know if it was Geneva or where it was, but the first thing we need to do is make this this religious what do you call it? Not dogma, but this religious ideology.
Yeah.
Before we go to these other countries, he needs to look like us.
Yeah.
And we can go over there and fake and pump fake everybody. And that's what I'm saying. They didn't have all the riches then. That was Ottoman Empire time when they were running out. And Asia was doing their thing. They didn't have the economic they had enough
Well,
economic
they were
travel.
they were killing nations. They were taking out nations and taking their resources.
But
That's how they funded their travel.
they knew that our influence is only going to be at the peak if we throw this Jedi mind trick in here. We can't just go.
The influence is big. I tell anybody, Christianity has.
And that's another great week of Fire Optics, people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's time to go. And make sure you like, subscribe, and
Yes. Like and subscribe. Once again, I won the conversation again. If y'all don't notice,
You lost the first time you said that I didn't know about basketball. That was already an L for you.
Yep.
Wait.
We'll let him pump his head up.
No, you picked the Mavericks. What are we talking about right now?
Because I was right almost, except Porzingis was hurt, and then
This dude
that's all right.
almost except.
I'm just saying you did a good job, except you took an L just for saying that.
Close game. It's a close game, Frico.
Yes.
73-71, third quarter.
Oh, Denver, huh?
I've been watching, James. I've been watching right here.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Keep my eye on that.
All right, family. I gotta run out. Peace. See you next week. And we'll definitely continue this conversation. A lot more to come. Let's hope for a good week. Again, our condolences to Chadwick's family.
Definitely.
And also one more person that we also forgot, and we want to send our condolences out to Cliff Robinson from the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yo, my bad. He went to Riverside.
Yeah, he went to a high school in our district, guys. So, definitely a good shout out to him. He passed away this week as well, so we didn't want to forget the condolences to his family. So,
Lute Olson too.
And Lou Olson, yeah, man, what a rough week, man. So, let's hope for this week to be a good week, and make 2020 turn around.
Yeah.
Nuggets
are better than last week.
Fire Optics out.
All right.